Sorry, it's not Christmas time. It's time for me to put my timer on. Hello, welcome to today's stream. Happy Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope it was everything you imagined and more. Today I am going to be working on the Hive death sound for Veridian and Expanse. This would be for, I'll just do a quick preview. Well, let's just Hive death would be right here when this dies. So yeah, that's where we're focusing on today. And the developer said to kind of do whatever I wanted to do, and he would kind of sync stuff up. So what I really want to do is I'm a Final Fantasy fan, and I was thinking about this death sound that happens when you beat a boss, and it's this one. Please don't. This might not be on stream. Yeah, it's not on stream, but let me put it on stream. I don't think I'll get in too much trouble playing a 5-second clip. So let's bring Finder in here. So I went online and I went to sound.org or soundarchives.com or something like that, and I downloaded the Final Fantasy VII sound effects list. And this is the one specifically that I was looking for because I wanted to get an analysis on my scope here. So that's definitely some kind of like nutball noise thing filter. So I think what I'm going to try to do, that's just going to be one aspect of it. But I like the idea of it coming from like starting, from higher in the frequency range and then going back up. I think that something like that would be really cool. So that's what I want to kind of strive for in this particular sound. So I'm gonna start with white noise, just to kind of get an idea. Now, I don't want it to sound exactly the same, for sure. It's more of like a reimagined version of this sound, something more modern. Excuse me. And I want to be able to play with a filter. I think that'll be fun. So let's give it a shot. Let me find one that I want to use. Filter freak. Let's try the format filter. And let's also get, before we do that, I want to add a EQ in here. Let's just get Pro Q, because it's the best. Let's not lie to ourselves here. So in the example, I remember it going from high basically to 500, and then it went back up. So let's cut out some of the low end here. Let's go up to 300 or so. And then let's get like let's do like a band pass. No, not a band pass. A bell, kind of tight bell. And then I'm gonna turn this down just in case it's ridiculous. I like using white noise, but it's been a while since I've tried something like this. So I think what we're gonna have to do is filter out everything. We're probably gonna have to like filter it out and then something like this. But let us let's try. Trying to think of how I would cut out the whiteness of it. I wonder if there's a way I could like invert the polarity. Let's see. Well, I could. What I'd probably need to do is I need to duplicate this. And one of them will need to have polarity switch in it. And the other, not so much. Okay, this is doing what I expected it to do. So let's actually cut this all the way out. Something like this. And then this one isn't out of phase, but this one will be. Okay, I'm gonna delete this. And then I want to put this one out of phase. Okay, I think I just cut the wrong one. So let's try this again. Damn you. And then this, out of phase. Nice. Okay, so now when I affect one, it will just be what I am pulling up. So let's get our bell here. Okay, so does this make sense? I'm basically taking and flipping it out of phase so that two different white noises are playing at the same time. One is out of phase with the other. So that means that anything that I add with an EQ will be what we hear. So it's like the opposite of this. So if I muted this, we'd hear the white noise. If we unmute it, we hear nothing because it's completely rejecting itself. So when I add something in that's different, that's where we get sound. It's a cool little trick. Phase is a cool thing. So I'm going to automate this. We're going to start here, and I'm going to automate this. Let's make sure this is, like, the clip is like 4 seconds, so maybe we should do it sort of similarly. Oops. Oh boy. Brain. So how long is this? Give me a good indicator. So here's 4 seconds. That's about 4 seconds. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so I am going to make this fairly big here. Where is she? Is all right. Didn't do exactly what I wanted it to do, but let's try that again. All right, and we'll stop it there. Stop it when it gets to the highest point here. Kill that. Make it a little longer. I'm going to add more. This is the gain. Okay, so I'm going to add that. All right, so here's one layer. Let's turn off the touch. And then we are going to bounce this. I'm going to make a new folder here. Just call it white noise. Yeah, whatever. And then we're going to render this to mono. All right, so now we got our new new little effect we made with our noise. It's peaking, so I'm gonna bring it down a little bit because don't want that. All right. So now we can get rid of this. I don't need it anymore. I can manipulate audio more now. Cool, cool, cool. And I'm also gonna cut this down. Cut this shorter. And then we'll make this a bit more prominent here. Okay, so let's add some like saturation to this. So we'll add decapitator. something like that. And then I think what I'm going to do is to get this sort of thing playing. I think I'm going to add a delay to it. We will try, let's just start with a basic delay here. So let's go. Let's duck the original here. So much feedback. Sup, Scott? Making some death hive sounds using Final Fantasy VII as an inspiration. I was looking at all the sounds from Final Fantasy. I downloaded them on like freesounds.org, and I really liked this one. That's the sound that plays when a boss is killed. So I want like an essence of that. So I've like made kind of I quickly made kind of a white noise sort of kind of thing. So I'm just kind of playing with some of the timing, and then I'm adding a bunch of layers to it as well. I think I'm gonna cut some of this high end. Yeah. This is a decapitator. This is a saturator, and then I add a delay. Right now, it's a little too driven, and it's fully wet. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this, and I'm gonna offset it. I think I'm gonna kind of make my own delay here. I might not use this end part. I'm not like feeling it quite yet. Let's cut more of that. What is it about this that I really like? I like that downward motion. I think that's the thing that I think I like the most about it. So it starts at what, 8K? It's like a little burst. So this is just the downward motion, and then we need something like in this area that kind of pulsates and then goes back up. And I don't even know if it needs to be that long. Just kind of like when it like goes into the ether when it dies. So we need an attack, some kind of an attack. Oh my gosh. some kind of pulsating thing, and then end. Oh my gosh, I'm having some issues. So, to recap, I just added this iPad in, so I want to use it. So, we got our initial attack. So it's going to be like attacky. Transient hit. Boom. And then it's going to go into the ether. Yeah. So something like that. Okay. My wife just got home from the grocery store, so if you hear some noise, that's her putting groceries away. Okay, so let's find an impact. No, not wood. I could use something like that, you know, something like that's very similar. Maybe not that, but that's kind of cool. Maybe that will be my pulsating. Maybe this is the hit that I'm looking for. And then this is the... Let's bring this down. Okay, it's too low. There's something to it, I'm just not quite sure yet. Connect here. Maybe this will, maybe I'll have this do something like that. No, that's not what I was thinking. That's a nice hard sort of hit. I think I'm gonna duplicate this and reverse it. Whoop. And then I'm gonna go. So it'll do this like backwards. Only we'll make it a little further. I think I might kill some of this delay. is the... Oh, wait. There is no automation because I didn't make it yet. Okay, so... Alright. Let's kind of kill it faster than that. And then bring this back. That's starting to sound better. Starting to sound more like a death. And then I'll add like some vocalization over it. Oh yeah, starting in the club. Ooh. I think I don't necessarily want that beginning, but I could pulsate this. I want to be faster. Let's glue these together and add some kind of weird effect to it. Good old wormhole. Quick sort of fade out. Let's turn this down. I'll make it slightly longer. I did like that pattern though. I wonder if I can just, yeah, let's try that. Alright, let's make it grungier though. I want it to be like... let's see what's making that. Well, first of all, let's add that Pro Q. And then I'm gonna do my regular thing where I kind of cut out some of the low end. And then let's add Decapitator to this. This is probably gonna sound like shit, but I want to hear it anyway. Okay, that didn't sound like shit. Uh-oh. Okay. That's kind of what I was thinking. Something really oversaturated and shitty sounding, kind of. Okay. Let's go even crazier on this bad boy. Best friend. Upward, some downward compression. Let's kind of just preemptively assume that some of this is going to be way too much. So we're going to kind of bring this in. Okay, probably can go a little crazier actually, especially those mid-range frequencies. I have no idea how this is going to sound in game. It could be terrible, but we'll see. So this is the hive shooting. So does this sound kind of the same? I think it has a similar tonality to it. Like this is like hollow and kind of like metal-y, sort of. Where that kind of has that kind of tonality, only it sounds like an explosion. So I think I'm going to add a couple of explosions to it too. Or an explosion. Or an a explosion. But more than one. No. All right. I do like that explosion sound. I kind of want like, I'm almost like imagining like a bunch of little explosions. The an-splosion. Thank you. Thank you for correcting my grammar. That's not right, folks. It's not right. Although I did just do something here that's gonna be problematic. So let's rename this saturated. Just super saturated. So I'm gonna need a new folder. This will be the hive death hierarchy. And then I can put this in there. So now our nope, in there. So now our saturated shit can be saturated, and then I can have an explosion that doesn't sound just like. That's the professional term for what it would sound like. Okay, so I'm gonna make this mono. And kind of like I'm imagining like several small explosions to start. Cool. Kind of sounds like thunder almost. I don't know. This might be awesome. Okay. That worked out better than I thought it was gonna. That first one needs more. Ooh, combat drone. Eh. Maybe this one first. This is batshit crazy. Okay, I'm gonna kill some of this middle so we can actually hear these coming in. So it's not just noise, 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 noise. Okay, so now... Okay, so then, let's bring this down. And then let's bring this back. And then we got to fill some more space in there because it's kind of dead. This is the sound that I was looking for the fucking dirt sound. Ugh, I might come back to that, but I'm done with the freaking dirt for now. Ooh. Time breach. Let's add something like that. Explosion. Whoa. All right, let's bring the rest of it back in. Let's turn this shit down a little bit. Okay, never mind. We don't turn it down a little bit. I mean, fucking wrap it up. That is pretty dope in my mind. It's gonna be Scott's job now to make it look as cool as it sounds. I need more of a big bang at the beginning here, though. Bang! Will that do anything? These are all really stylized. Fireworks. Yes, Scott. That's your job. Oh, baby. I could just do a super hyped I could add this to the saturated section. Holy crap, no. Just an out of control transient. Sure, something like that would be perfect. Ooh, I have a better idea. Get rid of this one. Get rid of this one. Get rid of this. Pull this. Oh god, I'm so sorry. This thing's gonna wish it never died. Alright. I hope you know where I'm going with this. Alright, let's get some dubstep explosions in here. Is that cinematic enough for you, Scott? Just batshit crazy. Thank you, Josh. Actually, I think I just want to have this. Yeah, David, LOL. What's up? I'm making xenomorph dying sound. I think I just wanted to super cut off. That's the technical term. I'm a super cut off. Yeah, the whoosh. Another kind of whoosh. More than one whoosh. Kind of liked that one. Well, so much for this explosion. When the ideas are flowing, just kind of gonna go with it. Okay, so we just want the whoosh part. It's gonna be a complicated death sound. All right, let's move this up here so I can get some actual. That's what I was kind of thinking. Okay, and then we're not done yet. We're not done yet. And then I need that sub hit. Actually, I have a sub hit. I think I'll just move it earlier. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. But let's have it even more dramatic than that. Yeah. Right. Well, I could take pieces of it away, too. I mean, this could even just be final boss death. Yeah. Yeah. Mostly just getting ideas here, too. Like, we could always do this in sections too. Like this whole thing could be for the final boss, but then maybe like this is just the tutorial. You know, it's just like we could cut it in half. I could add, you know, another impact here. We could break it up, or no impact, or turn this off, or whatever. I think just having some pieces to go with, or even just like this. Just muting that. Except not a plate of, it needs to be layered. That noise is probably not the one that I would want either. Mute that. And then let's duplicate this. I do appreciate your feedback because that does help me a lot. We pull this back. And it keeps me in perspective. Sometimes I get a little rambunctious. Josh, I'm actually just using, this is part of, this is just part of Reaper. So it's just the Media Explorer. All right. I could bring back the explosion idea. Just super saturated anime explosion sound. We don't need to further saturate it. We could make it shorter. Because I do like the end tail of this. This might sound really bad and really, really artifacty, but we'll see. Didn't sound as bad as I thought it was going to. Maybe I bring this plate up here. Maybe move this. Bring this back up. I don't want that. Maybe I just mute this. And maybe I move this over more. And then turn this down. Yeah. But bring it down when that goes down. Needs a little bit more tail. Maybe not so freaking choppy. Oh man. That's poor drawing. I am using my mouse on a trackpad. And then we'll make this longer too. actually, instead of... I've changed the sound already to basically nothing like it was before. But I'm actually liking this more. Let's take this out of the saturated section here. There we go. That's sounding more reasonable for a boss death. That's not the final boss death. What did you say, Mr. Scott? I could probably even bring more of... Make this a little bit longer, actually. Bring it back to its original. Yeah. Gotta add one more thing. Some electricity. If I can spell. That's the one. Maybe not saturated. Let's make this mono. Fuck it. We don't need it. Overly complicated for not much gain. Go away. Okay. So now we can turn this into a 1 sound thing rather than a 15 sound thing. Cool. All right, now we are going to bounce this into Hive Death. Sequence-wise, does it mean... It's a good question, and I think what I want to do is I want to put it in the game, and I just want to see how it feels, because it's gonna be different than we expect, most likely. Okay. Yeah, it could be something like that. I could also just bake something in. That's not a problem. I just need to see what it feels like. Yes, in code. Okay, so let's... Moment of truth. just put this in God mode. Didn't even do it. Oh, that's why. It's really quiet. Let's try this again. I also thought that the shield needed to be slightly louder. For now. Alright, all you bitches. Jesus, get away from me. So we're going to save that. And then quit save. Okay, cool. It's definitely a good start. There's definitely things frustrating me about how sounds are blending together, and it mostly has to do with the fact that I don't have some kind of multi-band compressor or something that can duck sounds. Are you talking? Oh, okay. You guys are talking about the integration. Yeah, I don't know. As more sounds get in here, I lose. I mean, this is what I was kind of saying about it all being in mono. You know, we could make this sound less dense centerfold. You know, if I had more of an ability to pan sounds, because right now basically everything's mono except for the music. with the exception of some things. Some things might have a little bit of a stereo field, but yeah. Well, we aren't going to solve all the problems today. I think I'm going to be done today since I'm getting fairly hungry. And this was a good stream, though. This was a lot of fun. Hope you all learned something, or if you didn't learn anything, you just had a good time. So thank you for coming, and I'll be back tomorrow, probably making more. Well, before we go, let's just check the old list. First version of the death sound is at least done. Not green, red. So, tomorrow we'll yeah, Scott, that'd be cool. It's mostly just multi-band compression, so that when some sounds, or like kind of like a stealing system of some kind, like, you know, so like if I'm shooting my gun, I don't want to just hear the gun all the time, because it gets really fatiguing, and then I don't get to hear like the really nitty-gritty stuff of like just anything else really. So it gets a little complicated to hear things, because I've just got stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks, stacks on stacks on stacks. And I think that's what's causing some loss of translation, to me at least, because I feel like there could be a lot more depth with some proper sort of handling of, like, because we could set it up so there's multiple different buses, you know, like there's the weapons bus, and then there's the, you know, the impacts bus, and like anytime, you know, the impact plate, like basically decide which one has the priority, so that like if I'm shooting a gun and I really want to hear the impacts on each thing, you know, like how I want that, like the ducking. So it normally goes. No, I think it depends on. I think it depends on like the scene of what we're playing, you know, like the part, because like for a boss fight, you know, I want to. There's just a lot going on, so I don't want the shield to be constantly full volume or whatever. I want to hear. I want to hear like the shield hit and then might duck when I shoot again, or, and I'm talking like just real quick, like a pumping sound almost, so that we can just hear a full spectrum of what we got going on. So I can hear the crunchy impacts of when I hit the enemy. And in middleware, how I would do this is like I said, I would send it to multiple different buses, and then I would side chain them to each other. So basically, if like one goes over a certain threshold, the other one would be brought down. So let's go back to my nifty thing I set up today. Let's get rid of this. Back to the drawing board. So if we've got, you know, impact sounds, impact, and then we've got what are they? We've got impact sounds, we've got motors going, we've got shields, and so maybe this would be like, you know, bus 1, 2, and 3, and so like I would kind of compress these all together into a compressor. Oh my gosh, sorry, this is just scribbles. So then when something happens on this bus that's higher volume than this one, you know, these would get brought down, so that I could hear more of bus 3, you know, at any given time. So like that's that's kind of what I'm talking about here. Because the compressor is controlling the dynamic range, and I can set it to the certain thresholds, and it should do its job. Multiband compression would be even cooler. So like the low end, here's like the frequency spectrum. Yeah, possibly, but we could get more generic. We could be more generic and more global about it, where it would just be based on certain levels if they're hitting. Because although it would be cool to do different scenes, I don't know if it'd be necessary, but it's hard to tell right now. Alls I know is that all the sounds just sound like this, and I want it to sound more like this. I want it to sound like there's space and, elevation and not just everything on top of each other. Yeah. And that's why I think, Scott, if instead of this compression idea, I think we could get clever with, instead of this being mono, we add the left and right stereo field. So instead of it all being straight, now we've got a spectrum of this, all this, these side data to use. So then, and I'm not talking spatial. I'm not talking like spatializer. Like if our craft is here and we shoot a sound this way, and the sound comes from here. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like in a gunshot. Let's say like I have the initial transient, like that initial shot, or like the gun. This is my gun. It shoots, and then we've got the bullet, impact, and so in this example, we would have we could have it so like the gun is, I'm trying to think of how I want to, basically that, like it could be fairly mono for the shot, or maybe the shot is like fairly wide, and then the impact is super mono. It's like it kind of sucks in, so there's like this kind of sort of thing that's happening. I don't know. I think there's a lot of ways we can go about it, and we don't necessarily need new tech quite yet. But there's some things that I'm thinking about, and how all the sounds are stacking like that. Don't really like it. But I could also get more strategic in the frequency ranges. It's just like a lot of the things that we need a certain oomph to them, and like an impact sound's gonna need that like lower frequency content to really sell it, to really sell to the player that it's hitting something. So when you have several things that need that, I could tune it to be like, okay, all the enemy impacts and whatnot are this frequency range with like this like a sub note of like a low C or something like that. And then like every attack that hits you or something like that, it could be like a higher pitch, or so we could do something more like that where it's like more pitch based, or sort of, I don't know. There's a lot of ways we can explore it. I'm still just getting initial sounds, so it's probably going to be best to just keep going the course and getting all the sounds that we want in, so then we can make a plan of action, and then I can like start pulling things away and then redesigning things that don't make sense or whatever. Stuff like that I've already been kind of doing with like the dirt thud, and just this is driving me crazy, and I'll fix this or whatever. So, but luckily it doesn't sound unplayable. It's not unplayable or anything. But like another thing that I noticed when I'm playing it, the gunshots are really loud. I can't even hear the music at all anymore. It's just like gone. Um, so yeah, and yeah, there's a lot to unpack, but we're gonna have to save it because I'm hungry and I gotta go. And my wife texted me, so I don't know what that was about. But thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll keep doing this. I will see y'all tomorrow, or whenever I see you again.